Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Game Changers podcast, brought to you by Damascus Gaming, hosted by me, Dan Teskey. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Damascus Gaming, and joining me on this introduction to the podcast is the Chief Operations Officer himself, the legend, Luis Ballester, commonly known as Sir Rambo. How you doing, brother?
Thank you for that great intro, Moodles.
Absolutely. This, by the way, is the man that does all the magic behind the scenes, and I've been working on trying to drag him out from behind the curtain because he does so many awesome things for the company, and I think he needs a lot more of the limelight because a lot of the things that we do here in DG would not be possible if it was not for him. So it's exciting to finally get him in front of something for once. But real quick, we just want to give an introduction on what the podcast is going to be, how it is going to go in the upcoming months. Obviously, with Damascus Gaming being an esports company, we are going to be talking about esports. But more so than that, we're also going to be getting into gaming. I mean, let's just be transparent here for a minute, brother. Like, when I was younger, I'm not sure how you had it when you were growing up, but for me, gaming was not something that you really bragged about. I got made fun of a lot for it. There were a lot of stereotypes with carrying the tag gamer, but today's generation, it feels like it's completely changed. Like, a lot of things have reversed.
I mean,
And
100%.
almost, yeah, I mean, it's just, you look at it and it's, you see kids today, like we were at a elementary school doing a career day. And when you talked about gaming, like every kid's hand went up. Like, yeah, like I play
Yup.
Fortnite. Yeah, I play Roblox. Back when I was a kid, not the case. It was I played football. I played baseball. And then I'd be the guy going, I play, Halo. And they'd be like, oh, that weird guy in the corner. You know what I mean?
I'd be like,
Like,
what's Halo?
yeah, like nobody knew. And then fast forward, now we're seeing video games. When you look at just sales alone and like revenue, it's 4 times the size of the box office. Like,
It's
craziness to
massive.
me. Yeah, it's a
It is a
massive
massive industry
environment.
now.
Yeah, so it's
And esports is
really,
really just the peak, just the top of the iceberg, right? Esports is what a lot of people see because of content creation, all these influencers, and then these players have become celebrities, right? Because of the high skill that they bring. But that's just the 1% of the iceberg.
yeah, I
Gaming as
mean,
a whole, the whole community is so much bigger, and there's so much to love in it. If you love music, you can find it in gaming. I mean, games like Halo pioneered soundtracks that we still listen to today. So, I mean, anything you really want to look for, it's in gaming.
yeah. And I think, by the way, I love how you did the correlation showing that esports is this percentage of gaming. Because I think really when you look at, esports, and we can like really get into, when esports came around, like how video games came around. We're not really going to be getting into the history of these topics on the podcast because there are a lot of different opinions on when these things started. But if you were to go back to like the first competitions, let's say the 1970s, with Space Wars, up until it like now, I would really say that the growth in esports directly correlates to the growth in gaming. Why? Because esports would not be popular without the medium that fuels it growing to the levels that it has now. I mean,
Right. The NFL wouldn't be popular if football wasn't popular in America.
yeah, absolutely.
That's the
So,
reality.
yeah, you have to look at it in that environment. So, I think that's a really good way to correlate it. Esports is that top percentage of video games. And I mean, and let's just be real. Like, as video games grow, esports will continue to grow. And I think, while everyone talks about, like the esports bubble having popped, and, like, and things have happened in the industry, not saying that it's perfect. No industry is. Let's just be transparent. But when you look at the size of esports and how many people are gaming, I mean, you really are going to see esports just continue to grow as it goes into the future. And for everyone, scared that esports is going to go away, I would honestly say look back at all the other traditional sports as well. Every one of them had their moments of trouble. I mean, baseball and basketball, perfect example. Basketball picked up television very quickly, baseball stayed on radio. And because of that, baseball had a lot of troubles. Same thing with esports, right? We've had our troubles, but we're still moving forward. There is that advancement, and it's going to continue on into the future. I mean, we just got back from DreamHack Dallas a few weeks ago. And a lot of people have been saying, how StarCraft 2, was not, necessarily doing as well because it's an older game. I mean, brother, we had a massive crowd watching StarCraft 2 at DreamHack Dallas. That game was popping.
100%. And we had around 200 Korean players travel to DreamHack Dallas for their respective games. Amongst them were the top 10 StarCraft players in the world, right? So, like, esports is still garnering attention sufficient enough to get people from across the world to come to the United States for these events.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to look at it. Like, esports is just popping. It's a great time. And, I love to see it because, as much of an esport fan as I am, I'm also a massive gamer. I enjoy this content. I've been a gamer, since I was a kid. I mean, I just remember waking up in the mornings, and just being excited to get through my day just so I could get back in front of my television, and jump on Halo. Get with my GameCube, play like all the great games, Smash Bros. Melee, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Like, I mean, the game list just goes on and on and on. And I know my passion with that, was really matched with Luis because how much you love gaming too. I mean, it's a part of who we
Absolutely.
are. And
It is.
I have to say, like, it's exciting to see it, and I'm excited to see, as gaming continues to advance, that more people are seeing it that way. The stereotype of the gamer has really changed. Because back when I was younger, it was, the guy in his parents' basement, covered in Dorito dust, playing until 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
Nothing wrong with Dorito dust, by the
By the
way.
way, Doritos are delicious, by the way, and I am also a fan of the byproduct. Which is the dust. I mean, come on. Let's just be real. But the thing that I would say about that, though, is gaming today. I mean, the age of the average gamer is mid 30s.
Yep.
Gamers today are, not concerned necessarily, about making it past the, like the next level. They're concerned about their mortgage and car payments. As gamers have grown up and evolved, so has the industry. And it's really cool to see these stereotypes now kind of being unwoven as gaming is launched into the center of culture. It's just an exciting time.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I remember having to explain to my parents at the time was how I was making friends through Xbox Live
Oh
when I was in
yeah.
high school. They wouldn't understand that it was possible for two people who live in different parts of the country to become friends online. And it wasn't, and that actually brings me to how we met. Dan and I actually met playing Halo,
Yeah.
and we both clicked and became really good friends online. And before I knew it, I was moving to here, El Paso, to form Damascus Gaming with him.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, and you got to think about that. An entire business, an esports organization was started off of two people meeting on a video game. Like, that's unheard of. Even 5, 10 years ago. I mean, like, I would say esport organizations probably that's more frequent. But for average businesses, it's just not a normal thing. Gaming is just going to continue to drive these new businesses, these new conversations, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. But let's
And
kind
yes,
of.
we
Oh,
we are El Paso's esports, but we've grown to more than that. We've built a lifestyle brand behind gaming here on how to be successful in life and how to use your skills and talents in gaming and apply them to this multi-billion-dollar industry.
absolutely. Which, by the way, I accidentally almost cut you off there because I'm glad you brought this up. It actually really segments well into our next portion I want to talk about too. This podcast, while it is also esports, while it is also gaming, obviously we are El Paso's esports company. So what that really means for us too is also showcasing El Paso and what we're doing here in the city. And Luis, I'm really going to let you run with this topic. I want you to really explain to everybody, when we say we are El Paso Esports, what does that mean? Just for esports and for the city.
So I want to be really clear with most people here, right? I moved to El Paso now. It's been almost a year since I've been here in El Paso. I've gotten to learn and love the people here. I'm originally from Puerto Rico. I come from a tropical island with the ocean on one side and the Caribbean Sea on the other side. So I am used to the water. And somehow I've been able to feel at home here in a desert in El Paso. Why is that? And when I ask myself why is El Paso, how did it work for me? It's really because the hidden gems inside the city that have really shined the city for me. And I've lived in other cities in the U.S. I've lived in Washington D.C. Right? I've lived pretty much. I used to be every summer in New York, and I've been all across the states multiple times. And something that sets El Paso apart is really just how much the people get together to support their own community teams. And when we say we are El Paso Esports, it's because like El Paso has their own baseball, the Chihuahuas, the Rhinos for hockey, right? Who would expect a hockey team in the desert? Well, they have sold out every seat for the past year in the Rhinos. So when I say that El Paso supports their local community, El Paso always shows up. El Pasoans are really proud.
Yeah, I mean it's unbelievable, and I really would just want to put this out there. So many people, when they hear El Paso, right, they flash back to what they've seen on the news, right? It's this dangerous place. You don't want to come here. We've all heard, how tumultuous like the border is. I gotta tell you, I feel completely safe in El Paso. Like all these horror stories, that you hear, don't like listen to those and and lean into it as being your determining factor if you're gonna come visit El Paso. So many people here, will say El Paso is the hidden gem of Texas. I would go further and say it's a hidden gem in the United States. We have
Hmm.
people every single day crossing the border from Juarez, coming over, to work, to spend time with family and friends. Juarez and El Paso are sister cities. We are combined together. And it really just makes this very special culture, a very special place that I've not seen anywhere else. You just
And
don't
I
get that.
And I want to add to that, a lot of the negative news and things that affect El Paso, it affected me when I was making my decision to come here because everything that my friends and family were telling me about El Paso was negative. Was there's so much crime, it's the border. But if you look at reports as early as 2022, the FBI came out with a report as for the top 100 cities in the United States in terms of population, El Paso is the 10th lowest crime rate out of all those cities in the United
Yup.
States. So if you
Crazy.
want to look it up, we'll be putting the links in our podcast, but also that information is readily available to you, so you can always search that up yourself. It's the
Yep.
Federal Bureau of Investigation's information.
And also, you may be asking too, I mean, I'm here for esports, I'm here for gaming. Why on earth are we talking about crime statistics? And the reason is very, very simple. We are working on bringing a lot of esports events to El Paso, and we just want to start getting that word out there so people feel safe and will come down and be a part of what we are doing here for the esports industry in El Paso. Like we have seen over and over and over again over this past 2 years since we started the company, how hungry El Paso is. And when we say like El Paso, we're talking not just the community, but we're talking about the institutions, the school districts, the colleges. They're so hungry for esports and ready for it to start, and really being able to lead this conversation and bring all these things together. It's a super exciting time, and we really want to bring more people to El Paso. I mean, honestly, Luis, I mean, like just talking about the school districts and the colleges. I mean,
Yeah,
from our
I mean
first
we have
meetings.
yeah, we have gone to these high schools, we've gone to these even elementary schools right now. We've done career days and everybody is so excited. And it's not just the kids. Nowadays we expect the kids. We every single one of them obviously raised their hands when we talked about gaming. They all loved it. But it's also the parents. Every single parent came up to us afterwards and they were excited about this endeavor and excited to see that gaming isn't just about becoming an esports player. It's also a favorite pastime for a lot of these people.
Yeah, it really is. And what made me laugh too when we hosted our last Our Community Cares charity event, I had adults coming up and going, why aren't you all bringing jerseys, to these events? Because I would definitely buy one. I'm sitting there thinking, you know, I'm thinking you're here to support your kids, that you're out here telling me how much you want to just support and be a part of Damascus Gaming. But then they tell you on the back end, no, you have to understand because I see my child has a future in this industry and I see how you're supporting it here in El Paso. So I really want to be a part of that and show my support. And it takes you back. And you just think to yourself, man, this is such a special place. And I really just cannot like stress it enough how special El Paso really is. When we talk about what we're doing here in the city, we want so many more people to come here and be a part of what's happening. It's an exciting time, not just for esports, not just for gaming, but also for El Paso. You know, really looking at as well our land center opening up in the next few weeks, and we have got countless emails and countless phone calls and people coming up to us when they see us wearing, you know, Damascus Gaming merch and asking like, when is the land center going to open? We can't wait to be there and be a part of it. Like the
We've
city is
gotten
on board.
we've even gotten job requests,
We've
and we
had
even haven't
numerous.
posted for a job opening yet. And people are like, I want to work there. I want to be there, part of the
Yep.
action. And it's because the city has seen what we're bringing, and I'm excited to share it with all of you. It's
Yeah.
gonna be great.
It's a really, really special time. So, we're going to keep this episode pretty short. I just wanted to explain to everybody what's coming in the podcast and what you can expect. We're really going to be pushing a lot of really awesome content here, bringing in different people from all over the industry, talking to gamers, talking to esport players, talking to professionals in production, casting, you name it. We're going to bring them in, bringing in people from El Paso to come and talk about, you know, the city and how special it is. This is really going to be an awesome podcast. We're really going to, you know, as the title says, you know, like redefining the arena is really what Damascus Gaming is doing, and we're really doing it here in El Paso. And we just want to talk about it and just explain it. I believe next week we're aiming at bringing King Gambler and Wise Gemini, two of our Mortal Kombat pros, onto the podcast. Going to be talking to them about, you know, what they're doing to prepare for season 2 in the pro competition. But
A
it's
little bit about that
yeah,
is King Gambler and Wise Gemini are world-renowned Mortal Kombat players. They have traveled across the world. King Gambler just this season went to Brazil, went to France, went to Canada. These are events that these players are consistently going to, that they're practicing, that they're competing in. So if you want to hear from some real esports players, we're going to be bringing them here onto the podcast next week.
absolutely. And also, real quick, just you know, kind of lead into it as well. Wise Gemini is actually in El Paso, and he lives here. He's about 30 minutes away from my house, which is a really exciting thing to think about because, you know, seeing that, you know, such high caliber players are coming here to El Paso or have already been living here is a super exciting thing. And we're just really pumped to bring all this information and really, like we said, you know, redefine that arena. So I appreciate everybody so much for coming in, listening to like the prelude to what is going to be the Game Changers podcast. Luis, got anything you want to add before we sign off here?
Yeah, if you guys have anything that you guys want to talk about or want to see in the podcast, make sure to visit our website, damascusgaming.com. Right there is our Discord link, and you can join our Discord. And on the general chat, you'll always see either me or Moodles. I am Sir Rambo on the Discord, and you can always tag us and say, hey, I want to see this in the podcast, and we'll make sure to make it happen. Thank you for stopping by.
Absolutely. And then also, you know, don't just join up to ask podcast questions. Come join the Damascus Gaming Discord. That's where you find the community. You know, while we do compete in Halo, Trackmania, and Immortal Kombat, we do also have numerous categories, you know, spanning everything from shooters to survival games. I mean, you can literally find it all in our Discord. Come be a part of the community. But once again, thank you so much for listening to this intro episode and also supporting Damascus Gaming. We appreciate every single one of you because we understand how valuable your time is. So devoting, you know, even a few minutes, you know, to support us means the world to us. So thank you so much, and we will see you on the next episode.